you just joined the meeting, we're going to hang for another 3 or 4 minutes, see if we can get everybody on before we start the meeting. Thanks for joining. Hey, Jeff, I just told everybody we're going to start up in a few minutes. Still letting people roll in.
Sounds good.
Hey, Brian, we're going to wait another 3 or 4 minutes, get everybody lined up, and then we'll kick it off.
Not a problem.
So glad to see you guys.
Good evening.
Yeah, hello. Thanks everybody for joining. We're just going to wait a few minutes. This is Blake Maffei right now speaking. We're just letting people roll in for the next couple of minutes, then we'll get everything kicked off.
I'm still got more coming in.
Sorry, I couldn't figure out how to get Nova's name off my computer, so I'll be Nova Estrada today. It's her Zoom computer for school, and I couldn't figure out how to get it off there, Gova.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Rob in there. There we go.
There he is. Hey,
How we
Rob.
doing? How's it going?
Good.
We still got people filing in.
Yo.
What's that backdrop, Jeff? Looks like you're in the woods.
I'm in the greenery. I'm in what's that? Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah.
So the sprinklers don't turn on.
I was gonna do I was gonna do the space background like Rashad, but
You still have people rolling in, Goba?
Well, some keep popping in and out.
We'll wait another minute, and then I think we should probably get kicked off.
Chaz is trying to get on right now. He just texted me. I don't know why he's having a hard time getting on, he said.
He still got dial up down there.
He's got
Probably.
that cricket wireless.
He said it's just
Hey,
saying waiting.
I don't have nobody waiting. Let me refresh it. Hmm. Is Chad sure he hit the right link? Because I'm not seeing him.
Let me see. I'm gonna
He
see right
texted
now.
me the link, so he should have it.
Yeah.
Yep, I used the same link he sent me.
Same, use the same link he sent me.
Well, while Chaz is trying to get in, I think we can start by saying, Blake, how ever we need everybody to be able to vote, they need to email Philip. Is that how it's working?
Yeah, I think, well, Philip, if you want to talk, what's the easiest for you? I mean, I don't know if we want to just go a roll call by alphabetical order.
I have a list of eligible voters. Obviously, anybody's welcome to join the meeting, but I have a list of folks who are eligible to vote. Um, so I can call the names I have, which will take a minute because there's 100 names, or we could just go through and I can call whose names I see, and then you let me know what your name is, and I'll check you as in attendance. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it out to where I can see more people.
I still got more people coming in, so
Okay.
I'm not sure what Chaz's issue is.
That's a long list.
All right. I'll start with Brian. Brian Hedgecock. I've got you. Obviously, I marked myself as here. Dunk. Brown. I do not see. Coach Brown, I don't see you on the eligible voters list.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
Uh,
just here to participate.
okay. All right. Thank you for being here. I didn't mean to call you out. You probably won't be the last one. Gova, I've got you. Estrada,
I
I've
got
got you marked. Tannery, is that you, Jason's iPhone?
Yeah.
All right, got you.
I got Rob Woods right next to me.
All right, let me get Rob marked. All right, I got Rob marked. Rashad, I've got you marked. Tim Flynn, I've got you marked. Coach Lynch, I don't see you on my list. Maybe you didn't have your card by the first tournament last year.
Yeah, not sure. I know I had it last year, but I don't know when I purchased it though.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't see you on the list I'm looking at.
Okay.
Trey Thomas,
Yes, sir.
I see you, but I don't see you on my eligible voters list.
I'll be just participant as well.
Got you. All right, awesome. Ryan, remind me of your last name. I don't know why I can't think of it. You're muted, Ryan.
It's fail.
Oh, I got you, Ryan Fail. I'm sorry, there's another Ryan above you. You're muted. There you are.
Gaylord, Gaylord.
Gaylord, got you. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Thank you, Coach. I got you. Chris. How do you say your last name? Is
Yeah, it's Bacardi, Phil.
Bacardi. Got you. All right. That's pretty close to how I was going to say it.
Yeah, that's closer than most, Phil.
All right. Rollison, I got you. Ryan Fell. I've got you marked as here. Present. Derek Randall. I do not see a Derek Randall on my list.
Yeah, I'm just a participant.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for being here. Ron, I also don't see you on my list.
I got Ron on the phone with me.
Okay. I don't see him on the eligible voters list, Gova.
Yeah, they had him under North Carolina last year.
Okay.
I was looking
All right.
into it.
Emily, I have you marked as here. Connor, I don't know your last name. Connor, can you roll call for me?
Connor Hamilton. I'm just a participant.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Thank you for being here. JT Spence,
Yes, sir.
are you just participating as well? I don't see your name.
Chaz told me that I would get a vote.
Okay. I don't see you on my eligible voters list. So we'll have to figure that out, JT. But thank you for being
Sorry.
here. All right. I see a Carolyn Schultz.
Yeah, I'm William.
That's
Okay.
William.
Got you, William. I got you marked as present. Derek, you're in as Michael Harris. That's you, right? Is that your legal name, first name, Michael?
Sorry, I was trying to get my mic to work. Yeah, that's
No, it's
me.
all good. Okay. Got you, Derek. I see a note taker. Dominic, can you call in? What's your last name?
More.
Moore?
Yeah.
All right. I don't see you on my eligible voters list, but thank you for being here tonight. DeGesra? Who is that? Can you call in? Tell me who you are. DAGESRA.
Philip, this is Dick. Aegis.
Oh, hey Dick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The username threw me.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Dick.
And I'm not eligible to vote.
Okay. Thank you for being here though. I appreciate it. Eric Pack. Also, Eric, can you call in? I don't see you on my eligible voters list, but if you're just attending, thank you for being here. Okay. Colonel Tolbert, I have you marked as in attendance. Thank you, sir. Levi, can I get your last name? I think I know who you are, but I want to make sure.
I'm sorry I'm coming in late. Just kept my phone at this Eric Pack. I'm just a 10.
Okay. Thank you, Eric. Glad you're here. Levi?
Masters.
Gotcha. That's who I thought it was. I just want to make sure. Thank you, sir. I got you in attendance. And then Jake.
Yeah, Jake James. I think my card's under John James.
John James, I got you. All right. Is there anyone whose name I did not call who is in attendance currently? I did not.
Just let in Trey
Oh.
Blue Ridge.
Manny, I've got you. Sorry about that. I've got you, Manny. Who else did I miss?
Chaz is still trying to get in. So I'm here with him right now.
Okay. Chris Rollison, I got you. Anybody else? All right.
Philip, this is Blake. I don't know if you called me out, but
Blake, I'm sorry. I probably skipped over you but yes, I did. I have you marked as in attendance.
all right, thanks.
So Philip, when it comes time to vote, all the people that you said could vote and you have them marked down, how are they voting?
I will drop a ballot link in the meeting. I also have everyone's email address here, so I can also email that out to those who are in attendance.
Okay.
And it's probably important, Gova, if someone pops in to let me know that you've admitted a new person so I can mark them on the attendance so they get that vote link. The voting link will go out once nominations are in. I will add all of the nominations to the appropriate ballot spots. It's going to ask for your first name, last name, and your USA number, and then the 5 positions that we're voting for. will be listed in that link. Select one for each position. You'll only be allowed to select one, and then submit your vote. I will send that out once nominations are done. I can email it and I can put it in the chat here. If you are not on the verified voter list, your response won't be counted.
All right. Chaz will be the only one I think that'll pop in, but we can get started.
Yeah, I think let's go ahead and do that. Let's Gova, can you move to the next slide?
Yep, just let Chaz in. Oh, too far.
Nice.
Hey, I'm gonna pop in from my laptop, so you'll see me twice. This is Chris Rollison.
I got a Rollison. Oh,
Brian.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Anybody else join in, Gova, or are we ready to go?
that's everybody that was in the waiting room.
Recording in progress.
Excellent. I'll just go. This is Blake Buffet. I'm the one of the on the board as the advisor. I'm going to be running for treasurer when we get to the nominations piece, but I'll just run us through the meeting agenda. I worked with the team putting it together. It's pretty much the agenda that was emailed out to everybody that was released a couple weeks back. We're going to do a quick introduction of the board. We've already gone through kind of a roundtable introduction of who's on the call as well. Jeff will kick us off with the 2025 year in review. I'll talk a little bit about our financial status. Philip will talk about membership growth. We've done pretty well over the last couple of years. Rob will talk about Safe Sport. Adam will talk about operational updates. Then we will move through. Brian will talk about referee and officiating management. Philip Price will talk about tournament management. Then we'll get into coaching management with Rashad and the team. And then Gova will talk a little bit about pairing. Then we will open up the process for nominations. The existing board of directors will talk a little bit about themselves. Then we'll open up the floor for self-nominations for other people to nominate. Those nominations will have the ability to talk about themselves. Then we'll get into, we'll go through the voting process. We'll announce a new board of directors. We'll do final order of business. Then we'll go to, adjourn the meeting. And we want to have a good open discussion at the end as well. So we're going to try to move forward pretty quick. That being said, next slide, Gova. I'll turn it over to Jeff. Actually, next slide. Everybody can speak up here, but Jeff is the current chairman. Philip is the acting secretary. Jennifer Montero, who is an accountant, I don't think she was able to make the call tonight. She's been our treasurer. I've been the advisor from a board perspective, and then Rob Wiggs is the legal Safe Sport director. Below that, we have Adam Duncan currently serving as operational president. The tournament management position was Philip Price, but he's stepped down from that position, so that's an open job role, if you will. Brian Hedgecock is the officials manager. Gova Kroboshinsky is the pairing manager. We have an open membership growth and marketing manager position. We have Rashad Palmer as national teams and coaching manager. We have a fundraising manager position, which is open. Chaz is running the junior head coaching position. Manny is the women's head coach, Manny Millar. Derek Harris is 16U, and Jason Tannery was 14U, kids youth coach. So that's kind of the organization as it stands today as a whole. I think we have everybody on from the organization. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. I think we got everybody. So let's move on to the next slide. Please, Gova. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to Jeff. He's going to just give a little high level about kind of where we've been, where we are now, where we're going in the future. So with that, turn it over to Jeff.
Awesome. Thanks, Blake. I first want to say thanks to everybody who's on, especially people who maybe you didn't have your card in time, or you didn't even know the how voting worked. But we have a lot of new faces and people on that are it's exciting to see on here. And of course, you have your card now. So by the next year, you'll be able to vote. And these votes for these positions come up every 2 years. Every other year, we try to have a general membership meeting where we talk a little bit more about things. And of course, at the end, we will have a bunch of Q&A. But really, the past, it's in the past. When I came into this thing 5 years ago, there was 12 kids going to Fargo, maybe like 9 some years, 12, 15 sometimes. And that really was my main focus, to increase the Fargo numbers and increase the participation. There was no dual teams, national dual teams really going. I think they had one U14 team go at some point, but that became a big focus of mine. And so through the last 5 years, I've really focused on putting together the most competent national teams directors that I possibly could. And so the past 5 years, I brought in Chaz McLaughlin McLaughlin was my first one. Chaz, he's the junior director. We put a junior team together. And Patrick Bowler was the women's director. Last year we got Manny. Derek Harris stepped up and big time in the U16 position. And so, the present board right now, and then the present directors is really a 5-year landscape of something that I've been working on putting together, trying to get the best people in the position. And so, referees director, Brian's been around a long time. He knows what he's doing. Gova in pairings. Right now, we really don't have, we're missing a few things, fundraising director. We'd love to find someone that can do that, but that's a hard job. But I think right now we really just have, for the present, we have a really good working group of people that are doing their jobs day in to day out. They're making my job a lot easier, from having to do a lot of things. Every day I can just call on Chaz. I can call on Derek. Our U14 director, that's a big job. He's got young kids. He's really been in it, doing it. The last year we took every team. Last year was probably our greatest time. Jason took a 14U team. Derek took a 16U team. Chaz took a junior team, and Manny, who stepped up big time and did, what I had dreamed of doing for 5 years. And that was take 3 women's team, all age groups. And so, when I think about the future, I just think about increasing those teams and seeing them rise up in placement and seeing them grow. Like I said, we took one team one year. Next year we had a junior and U16 team. Then we had a U14 team. Then we had 3 women's teams. So the future looks bright with the amount of people that we have helping out, participating. Fargo was, maybe we didn't get the winners we had the year before we broke records, but that's going to happen. You're going to have these up and downs. What we did have was more coaches that were involved, C2X, a lot of clubs that were involved that were, really high participating. And this year we have a U20 event with Daryl. I'm glad you're on, with, and so we're going to have 2 tournaments on that weekend. So we're growing in tournaments. We're growing in every aspect, and so that's the future, is just growing. I went to the national meeting this year. I had never been before with South Carolina as a representative. I went this year, and, we were really spoken highly of, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of touching on that with Philip, but the growth we've had over the last 5 years in membership and participation, they're really, they just really thought it was awesome. So that's kind of what we were. Like I said, 12 people going to Fargo, present, 6 teams going to duels, 57 athletes went to Fargo last year. And the future, the future is, 70, 80 kids going to Fargo, placing a team in the top 20, getting in the gold pool, stuff like that. That's my vision and what I really want to see. And it's going to take a lot more work, and us getting everybody on more of the same page, but I'm really excited about the future of what's going on. So that's kind of where I'm at, Blake.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Let's go to the next slide. Over. Quick financial update. When we came into the organization, we had roughly 7,000 in the account. We did a little fundraising campaign and raised about 13,000. We've been growing revenue year over year, and the majority of our revenue comes from tournament activities, though we have it through membership as well. We put in some, I believe, better and faster payment processes for the referees and the pairing teams and the tournament directors, as well as the hosts. We try to get that those monies out within a day of the actual event happening. And once we put together a profit and loss statement for each tournament to tell us how much money we're either making or losing on the tournament, and then we go through kind of a payroll process, if you will. Good news, we currently have about $41,000 in the account. We will have some big spends coming up, about $4,200 for routing gear, for cameras and PCs for GOA, so we can better run the tournaments. I think he's going to talk a little bit about trying to get us up onto Rockfin. But overall financial status is pretty solid. We want to continue to obviously grow the funding base, because ultimately we want to be able to send more kids to Fargo and make it cheaper for national duels. And at the end of the day, everything we're doing is for the benefit of the athletes. So we're trying to make sure that we can grow the sport in South Carolina through funding mechanisms that help these athletes be able to participate. So I think overall doing pretty well. Could always do better, can continue to grow. Anybody has any questions at the end, you can certainly let me know. So
one thing I do want to say is that $41,000 is also on top of us subsidizing every year. I believe we subsidized last year about almost 20K, maybe even a little bit more than that, which is huge. We went from Fargo, when I came around, was about $1,600, $1,800 to some kids went to Fargo for $700 because they won regionals, they went to the duels, they did everything. So we subsidize all the dual teams. We subsidize kids for Fargo. We have the freshman phenom program where a kid wins state as a freshman, he goes to Fargo for free. We're going to be eventually trying to Fargo champ gets to go for free again, stuff like that. So I do want to say, we did subsidize last year. This year we're looking at subsidizing again. So that growth is on top of the subsidies. I've been in 5 different states and I've seen them sit on the money, not give it to the athletes. And you can always inflate those numbers if you're doing stuff like that, but we're always trying to find a way to get it back to the athletes.
Yeah, it's a really good point. And that's the goal this year is, we are sitting at a higher amount of net assets in the account, which gives us the ability to hopefully stipend more. And that's kind of our goal is eventually we want to get to a point where we can send kids to both national duels and to Fargo for, close to nothing, if at all possible. And we can do that. We just need to grow our tournaments. The folk style league that we put into place is generating a good amount of money. Philip and Jeff and the rest of the team have been doing a really good job on managing that aspect. So that's given us an additional revenue share that we didn't have in the past in the fall and the winter. And that's why we're starting off with such a high account, because we're going to go into, spring and summer tournament season, and we should generate a good cash flow from that. And I think we'll be in a really good position to do even more than what we did last year, plus continue to build our asset base for running these tournaments with the computers. We bought a trailer, we bought, and Gova can list off anything else I'm missing, but we bought a whole slew of things to try to make these tournaments better. We bought the pin equipment, which I think was roughly $10,000, which makes our tournaments run a little bit smoother as well. So financially, things are going in the right direction, and that all comes with growth, right? At the end of the day, we need to get more kids participating in these tournaments. We need to run more tournaments. We need to get to a point where we have a fundraising manager that's helping us supplement these funds, and I think we'll get to where we want to go, which is making these trips relatively extremely inexpensive for these kids. So that's it. We can move on to the next slide. This is Philip.
All right. For those who I have not met before, which most of the people on the call I think already knew, my name is Philip. For the last 2 seasons, I've served as a tournament director, and we've seen significant growth really since 2020. These graphs here represent that growth. The only reason there's a dip in 2026, if you're looking at that and you're like, man, that doesn't look good, we haven't hit free and Greco season yet. I just pulled it up. We're currently at 1,471 athletes in the system for this year. Last year we had, I'm waiting on it to load. I think last year was around right at 1,600 athletes. So we're projected this year. What the dashboard is saying is like it's more growth than I think we'll see, but around 40%, 30 to 40% growth this upcoming year in athletes. Last year we had about 20% compared to the year before, and you can see here the blue line is wrestling leaders, and you can see that trend line is up.
Hey, Dario.
Clubs.
That's not good. Thanks. Mhm.
Clubs, we are also trending up. Last year we had 50.
It depends. Like I like to get the pictures and show them to. I like powder my own.
Go, but can you mute
the flavor on
whoever
them.
that is? Somebody's got an open mic. Thank you. The blue is our current wrestling leaders. Obviously, all of those trail off, and I see that. I know that it doesn't look good. That's because we haven't hit the biggest part of our season yet, which is our free and Greco. But the fact that those trend lines are still going up, just coming out of our kids folk style season, gives me a lot of hope. The green line is our coaches, and the red line there is clubs, and then events. That line has already moved. I pulled this data earlier in February, and we have begun sanctioning our free and Greco tournaments for the year. So we will have, I think, 15 or 16 tournaments sanctioned this year between the Kids Folk Style League and our free and Greco league. So things are looking up. You can see all those trend lines are going up. You only have so many weekends to have tournaments on. So that's one that's probably a little flat, but leaders, wrestlers, and coaches, all of those lines, athletes, all of those lines look pretty good. Go, you can go to the next slide.
Thank you, Philip.
Thank you.
I think you go back.
Philip.
I think you got to go back one, Goba.
Oh, I was gonna say, we just added some people to the chat for Philip to get their names. They're in the chat. They're supposed to be saying in the chat.
I'm gonna check the chat against the eligible voters, but before we go into voting, I'll make sure that I have everybody marked. I'm gonna roll call one more time, just those who I have marked, and if there's anybody who's eligible, it'll take me just a couple minutes to make sure we have everyone eligible marked. But yes, I'm gonna check the chat here in a second. I'm also trying to take notes too. So,
should we hold off questions on the end, or can I ask them as they come up?
We're gonna hold it off to the end, Tim.
All right, 10-4.
Unless you think it's specifically like right now is the right time, it will certainly we can let you ask the question. But I think we're gonna have a big open discussion Q&A at the end.
All right, sounds good. I'll hold off.
Yep. All right. The next speaker is going to be Rob. He's going to talk about Safe Sport. Rob Wiggs. He's been doing this for a very long time. He's making sure we're doing everything by the book from a Safe Sport perspective. Go ahead, Rob.
Yes, sir. Appreciate everybody on attendance. This is phenomenal that we have that many involved in listening and being a part of something. We love the sport of wrestling. We have to protect the sport of wrestling. If you don't know, my cell phone number is 803-447-2127. You can call me, you can text me. Anytime you have anything related to Safe Sport or questions, let me know. My national contact at USA Wrestling is Kenyon Dixon, Kenya. Dixon is Dixon. And each state in the United States, each state has a safe sport coordinator that works with each of the board. So everything I do, Jeff knows about it. Jeff and Blake, pretty much. But something happens, I let Jeff know about it. And I want to talk about a couple of things. How do you get your Safe Sport certification? Well, that's all online. It's Gova and I talked about doing a few things that we're going to add so that we have them on our website, especially for the duels, the travel teams, and questions that you may have. But USA Wrestling, when you go to apply for membership and you go to put your information in there, and you do your background check, while you're doing that, you can do your Safe Sport training. Safe Sport training is required every year now. And that's tightened up for a lot of different reasons. Not just South Carolina, but it's statewide. There's a lot of activity that goes on. Our surrounding states have issues. We don't have as many issues, but we have issues without getting specific. Periodically, especially when you're at nationals or Fargo and duels, they do audits all the time. And as you travel, you use maps or Google. Well, MAP, under Safe Sport is spelled MAAPP. And that stands for Minor Athletes Abuse Prevention Policies. Now, my recommendation, as I do, I'm holding up a 3-ring binder. Every coach that has a club should have a 3-ring binder with all of this information in it, with the map in it, with the links. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a binder of important things that I think each club should have, and get that to you. I'd like to talk to each of you more often, at least on the phone. I travel the whole state of South Carolina working for DOT. There are, as you know, in the training, there are what's considered a safe sports violation. There are 6 categories: sexual misconduct, emotional misconduct, physical misconduct, bullying, harassment, and hazing. Tonight, I want to pick one because it comes in, more often, and that is physical misconduct. Now, we all watch videos, we watch YouTube, we watch a lot of things. You probably you're going to see what happened last night internationally, but the thing I want to stress is we're visible. We're visible as referees, as coaches, as leaders. In today's technology, you're more visible than you have any idea. Physical misconduct includes contact acts like punching or slapping an athlete. Non-contact acts, such as denying a player water for food, giving them alcohol or drugs, or forcing athletes to hold a painful position to no athletic reason. I want to mention 2 things related to that. What we used to do, what used to be accepted 20 or 30 years ago, you got your athlete, he's going to go on the mat. You've got physical contact that happened, slap him on the head, whatever you do. That's not necessarily too cool this year. In today's environment, that's not necessarily good. Complaints happen all the time. The other part about that is, and this has happened several times, where you're traveling with minors. remember, you can't drink alcohol in the presence of minors. That's considered a violation, and other athletes and coaches have been called on that. See something, say something. That's a phrase we use a lot, and it needs to be a situation where if you see a problem or potential problem, I don't worry about it. To raise your hand and ask somebody. The board, we're all visible. We're all at the tournaments. So raise your hand. Now, I want to remind you, if you have a situation where the first phone call needs to be to law enforcement, call them first, especially in certain situations. Don't investigate. Give them a call, but at the same time, let me know. And as I'm whatever I find out, I share with the board. We do have just for information, we have 3 persons that are jurisdictional, what they call jurisdictional suspensions. They cannot they cannot be an active member unless they apply and go past background checks. And from what I know, they won't pass background checks. The last thing I want to make a point of is your active leaders in your room that travel with you. All of those adults and leaders that travel with you, you need to encourage to protect yourself and our sport and our state. Do the background check, get them safe sport trained and registered, because that's a level playing field. Things still happen, but at least that's the beginning step. And if you have any questions, however I can help anyone, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Go. Let's move on to the next slide. I believe it's Adam's going to speak for a little bit, just generally operational. Go ahead, Adam. We lose
Real
Adam.
quick before Adam picks up, I do want to encourage any club coach that if you ever have a question on Safe Sport, just call Rob. He's been the biggest help over 4 years of even things that I thought, well, I don't know. Let me just call Rob and ask him. It's just, maybe it's something you saw or heard. Just ask him. He's going to tell you exactly what to do. Do not hesitate. Rob is probably the best person to talk to about anything as a coach. And I think it's really important that we stand on the ground that we are a league that has background checks and has people that are supposed to be upstanding. So I just wanted to say that. Adam.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to sound really redundant, but I think, looking at it, it's been a huge team effort to push these things and see an increase in productivity that we've had. But we've introduced over the last 2 years, we've introduced this folk style league, and it seems just to keep getting better and better. We had a couple hiccups this year, but we're seeing interest grow in the folk style. Over the last couple of years, we've seen a huge increase in the being able to participate on the national level also, and a lot of interest. We're sending girls dual teams places. We're sending youth, the young kids to duels. The what we used to call cadets is now 16 into U, and being able to fill all those team slots. Fargo has increased. We're sending kids to all over the regional. Southeast has seen a big bump, but we're sending kids to the Northeast and everywhere. And I think Jeff has been taking guys out to Worlds, so huge interest in that growing. I think something that really excites me is the relationships are growing as the clubs grow. We're increasing relationships with not only different high schools and coaches, but also the college coaches have opened up the doors to us and allowed us to have events there, and that's really exciting to me because I'm into it too. Alan, you guys, and so it's been great. And what we really need to do is fill this board up with people that are like minded and goal oriented like we are, and continue to push the narrative. So that's what I got.
Thanks, Adam. Go, we'll move on to the next one, please. Brian, you're up.
So last year we had 17 registered mat officials, which is actually a few more than the year before. 8 of them, we had 8 that worked state events, and we also had 4 athletes that helped out that were college level kids that had done the folk style league for us last year. We actually increased that number a couple of officials this year, and we're working with those college coaches to get those guys certified so we can start using them in the spring and hopefully start helping get some of those kids to the dual events for us to help us out. We sent officials we sent one official with every team that went for the duels last year. We're on pace to do that again this year. We had 5 officials in Fargo from South Carolina, which is ties the record we had before. 4 officials went to the U.S. Open, 7 at Southeast, and we had a Suzanne Salado who was at the World Team Trials for us this year. Currently, right now, we have 13 registered officials for this year. Like I said, I've got 4 that I've talked to directly that we're working to get finalized so we can get them out this spring that are interested. Some are high school guys, some are guys that just moved to the state. But numbers of officials seem to be growing. The Folk Style League has helped us with getting the college kids involved to grow numbers, which hopefully looks good, like everybody says, down the road for us to keep moving forward. And that's all I've got for right now.
Thank you, Brian. Go, next slide. Back to you, Philip.
Sorry, I was taking notes. All right. So, as far as tournament management and the USA member software and USA bracketing, I we trialed USA bracketing last year. I think we were one of the first states to roll it out in mass. I know Georgia's using it now. We go down there some, and and it has been great. I will tell you, as someone who operates inside a local club, I love the USA membership site. It's given us as a club some pretty good insights. We make sure this was something that Rob talked about. We don't have anybody on our mat who doesn't have a USA card, period. If they can't pass a background check and they can't do safe sport, they don't get on our mats with our kids. And not only that, it's given us the ability, we did signups this year through the USA system at our club, but using it as a state official, I love being able to email all of you and see how numbers are looking. One opportunity here, I think, really is providing some training for our coaches on how the USA system works. I really think it's a game changer if you understand it. The big things we face at almost every tournament, or at least the first few, is affiliations. Kids are buying cards, they're not affiliating to a club. And because for our local events, we do satellite weigh-ins for folk and for free and Greco when we get to spring season, except for those championship tournaments, really causes some problems when kids aren't affiliated. Speaking of satellite weigh-ins, they are extremely popular. I know everyone's fear is that people cheat on those. We randomly select at every tournament 2 to 3 kids from each club. And then for folk style, and I know we did this last year for free and Greco, any unaffiliated kid got weighed. We checked them that morning. And in my 2 seasons, we've not had anyone who has abused that. USA bracketing continues to improve. I know there are some folks out there that don't like it. I think some of that is due to we need to do a better job of explaining how it works, how to get into it, how to find your wrestlers, and really parents and coaches probably. But that's the tournament management side of things. Things are clicking along or did for the last 2 seasons. I anticipate they'll continue to do so. Gova has helped me tremendously in the last 2 seasons with this. So props to Gova. Shout out to him. He's helped with the pairing side of things, but it's been a tremendous win between the USA membership site and USA bracketing. I think South Carolina is set up to excel compared to a lot of the states around us.
Thank you, Philip. Gova, you want to switch us to the next slide? All right, Rashad, we're on to you along with the other coaches if they want to chime in on anything.
Good evening, everybody. For y'all don't know me, I'm Rashad Palmer. So big things I wanted to talk about is just kind of just identifying like how many more athletes, like we know in South Carolina we're growing, but across the country we're getting more and more athletes every year involved in the freestyle and Greco, the international styles, and trying to compete at these national events. We have to understand that we don't want clubs. We want to register as many clubs as we can, but big issues that we see is clubs just chartering to not participate. We did a lot better job at that last year, but we want clubs to start participating in these tournaments so we can continue to try to grow South Carolina wrestling. I talked to 2 coaches today at the rookie state championships for Ward today and asked them if they planned on chartering clubs, and both coaches were like, I don't know anything about freestyle and Greco. It's not just about the understanding and knowing freestyle and Greco. It's about giving the kids opportunities because it's only going to help them. We do have opportunities for coaches that do not know. For us that are connected to high school coaches that want to just keep their kids on the mat, but they only want to work folk style. Reach out to myself, reach out to Jeff, reach out to Chaz. There's plenty of coaches that are willing to help with that type of education and knowledge, whether it be camps, clinics, or whatever it is. But we really want to continue to push that. We've definitely been doing a good job of leveraging those partnerships with the college coaches and the high school coaches. So we really want to continue on that. For the national teams, big thing is we want us to start pushing and preparing parents early. So if you have those athletes that you want to go to these national events, or you are predicting that they're going to go to these national events, let's just start pushing out to parents early that it's going to cost. Fargo costs, the national tournaments cost. Last year we subsidized every team to an extent. The juniors team was the one we subsidized the most. We're talking now about like who do we subsidize more, but parents got to prepare that. I mean, it's not cheap, to say the least. We help out as much as we can, but we have the events, we put the cost out there, and then we have people that commit and then they back out, or people we can't fill teams because people don't want to pay the money. So if we let them know early, it'll help. So last year, so we're looking like on average last year, and these numbers aren't exact numbers, but it's about $850 for the U14 team, 16 for the U16 team. It was only about 600 for the kids that are on the juniors team, which that was subsidized for the most part, and girls about 750. I just took a rounded number based off of like what they had, but we just, if parents, if you want to be coaches that you know your kids, you want your kids to travel, they want to compete, their parents want them to compete, just kind of get that information out to parents early so you're not fighting that battle later on down the road. That's about it for me.
Thanks, Rashad. Appreciate it. If at this point too, if there's any of the other coaches that want to speak up or talk about anything before we get to Manny on the women's side, feel free to chime in. We can, and if not, we can cover. Chaz, you want to talk?
Yeah, for sure. So 1,000%, I think I think we're seeing a lot of growth. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm sorry, I'm on a laptop. I haven't used this thing before.
Yeah, you sound beautiful.
Okay. 1,000%. I think we're seeing a lot of growth. There's a few things that I kind of want to do a little differently this year than we did last year. The past few years, we've been going to junior duels. Last year was the first year it was in Milwaukee. It's been in Tulsa the few years before that. Look, we're as a junior team traveling to these events. It could be really tough. When we first started going, Jeff and I started taking teams, 5 or 6 years ago, and the first year we went, man, it was an uphill battle. We were getting slaughtered. Like, it was tough, but we've slowly gotten better. We've become more competent in freestyle and Greco, and we're competing better. But at the same time, are there other opportunities at that same time that would set us up better for Fargo? And I think some of those should be considered. We were talking about maybe potentially going to turf wars in Pocatello, Idaho. And the reason that we were talking about it, one, it's going to cost about the same. It's on a college campus, staying in the dorms, eating in the calf, things like that, very similar to Fargo. However, the kids are getting more matches, which means they're getting more pinpoints, which means they're going to get better seeds at Fargo because it's all based off pinpoints, right? In fact, I think even at Pocatello, they have freestyle, Greco, and folk style events. So it'll be dual teams for those events, and there's an individual tournament for those styles also. So they're getting a lot more matches. They're getting more pinpoints. I think it's worth considering. Maybe looking at some of these other events instead of going to junior duels, where even though we're getting better, we're winning some matches or winning some duels, but we're doing them in the lower pools, right? Maybe we're just not quite there yet. I think we could go to Pocatello the same weekend, compete with a lot of these state teams. Maybe not their A team right out the gate, but I think we'll be able to compete a little better. Kids will have a little more confidence going into Fargo, getting some more pinpoints, and it'll end up putting us in a little better spot. I'd like to hear more thoughts on that from the 14U guys and 16U guys, because I think it's all age divisions, if I'm not mistaken, right, Jeff?
Yeah. And I think we pretty much, with 14U, we're going to Florida for the duels, and then for 16U, we've been talking with Derek, and he's planning to look at turf wars also.
Yeah, but we're definite on 14U for Florida, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, for the national duels. That's still a tournament that you're not drawing tons of hammers. You still get good matches. But those 16U duels and those junior duels, I think Derek can even speak on this. I think we had, for the 16U duels, we had, 6 state champs, high school state champs, and placers, and we get in the first, no seeding points. We never have seeding points because we don't go to a ton of tournaments that have seeding points. So we're just always in the worst pool, worst draw.
Well, I'll say a little bit about the 14U team. I think everybody hear me?
Yes.
Can everybody hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I think last year was the first year we had put a team together, if I'm not mistaken. I know the year before we didn't. And we kind of just went into the 14U the state or the national team tournament waiting to see who was going to show up and compete, and put the team together that way. We still had about 4 holes in the bracket and really didn't have the strongest kids on the team. I think we had one middle school state champion, and he did really well. I mean, I think he lost one match in each style. So if we can get the strongest kids on the team, or do a better job of getting the strongest kids on the team, we can compete at that level in South Carolina. And this group we've got coming up, I believe, is the strongest group we've ever had. There's some really good guys coming through. And I'm really excited about this year's team. We're going to do a better job of putting the team together before the national qualifier tournament, and to where it's just a formality when they go in there and make the team. So that's about all I have to say about that.
Good points, Jason. With the U14 team, that's kind of what I did with the U16 team last year. I reached out to all the guys that I thought were the best guys and said, "Hey, make sure you show up to the national team qualifier."
Yeah.
And we took, like, looking at this year's results from the high school team, from the high school state tournament on the U16 team last year. Like, it's still kind of like what Jeff was saying. In Greco, we started out great. You know, we won, I think, 2 out of our first 3 duels. But then as the tournament went on, the kids got beat up. Kids couldn't continue. And it just turned into a bloodbath, you know, by the time we hit freestyle.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I mean, well, Chaz and Derek will talk more about turf wars coming up in the future with each other and the board, and then coaches reach out to your directors. If you got a strong 14U kid, get them on over. To Jason, you got a strong U16 kid, get him at the National Dual Team Qualifier. That tournament shows us who we need to be investing in, and it's a big deal to me. So I think we really got to get that going.
Okay, we're ready to move on to the next one, Jeff?
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Manny.
I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
With us adding on some extra tournaments and stuff, or is there a possibility to adding on like some alternate spots just in case kids fatigued or injured? Kind of prevent that a little bit.
Did you say adding in like extra kids for
Yeah,
duels?
kind of like a backup spot or something like that.
It allows 3 alternates at turf wars.
Yeah, turf wars. Even at the national duels, there's alternates. The problem is, like Derek will tell you, but getting a kid that wants to go as an alternate for, maybe he's going to get 3 matches for $1,600 is hardcore when you're going all the way. That's why we're looking at turf wars, because let's say we take kids as alternates. Now they get to go to a tournament also. They get a freestyle and Greco tournament. They get to be on the dual team as an alternate. And it's not really hurting them, right? But we've been doing the duels. I've been doing it for almost 15 years now. I did duels with Colorado. I did duels with California, and you just can't get kids to pay $1,600 to be an alternate. They want guaranteed matches, and the parent that won the spot wants the guaranteed all matches. And every year, all these guys can tell you, somebody says, "Well, I want my kid to get all the matches." That's usually the guy's kid that gets hurt. He's the one that's like, "My leg hurts. I can't go on."
I worked it out to where we subsidized this U16 alternates last year. So they went for a lot cheaper than the other kids went for. But we still ran into issues with like 2 of them because say one of them was a 113 and then our 120 got hurt. Well, I used that 113 alternate at 120 and then you had the parents complaining. It really turned into, I mean, like I did my job as the coach, but it just, we got to make sure that those guys are willing to, if we have to wrestle them up, we wrestle them up. You got to make sure that's, explained to them beforehand so that they know what they're getting into.
And I think national duels is a great thing. Don't get me wrong, but I've been in part of some small states like ours, and we just go and we're paying $1,500 for a ref. If we don't show up with the refs, we have to, I'd much rather invest that tournament and a duel. And the turf wars has California brings 2 teams, Hawaii brings 2 teams, Idaho brings 3 teams, Montana brings 2. It's what you get right now with the teams right now. Both Derek and Chaz were in the last pool. Those teams are in that tournament. So it's kind of what you're getting anyhow. So, that's kind of our thing, what we're looking at. And I think Manny's going back to the duels because his momentum he has right now is huge. So go ahead and take it on, Manny. Tell us what you got.
I appreciate that.
but a little hype there, Jeff. Last year, we had a historical year. We brought all three teams, 14U, 16U, and junior team. Um, one of the biggest issues we had was getting the weight classes filled, but just bringing three teams was a definitely good feat to have. Total of 33 girls. Um, I will say this, I already put out like an interest form on the Facebook page and everything. I already got 32 responses, and of those 32 responses, 52 or 50% of them have not participated on a national dual team. So that tells me that there's a lot of momentum going forward with that. Um, at Fargo, the representation of girls for Fargo, we actually, he said total 12 before. Now we actually had 12 total girls, one All-American. She just recently graduated. Hopefully we can keep that steam engine going forward with that. Biggest things is just to keeping girls understanding how Fargo and that process works with qualifications. And I'll talk more about that later. Um, I have received, I'm one of the coaching staff throughout the season, and I have received a lot of positive feedback of the national team. I've been asking about when is it, when can we start recruiting, all that stuff. And it's growing. And it might come to a point where I'm gonna need a lot more help than just me. And I'd rather have that problem than not having any problem at all. So we are doing things in the right direction. One of the biggest things I would like to build onto is more than just like a 4-year plan. It's like 10-year plans, continuity with coaches for the teams, and then eventually find collegiate or graduated female wrestlers that's willing to help coach a national team. Or the idea and vision is those that are want to venture into a coaching career. This is if they're still in college to kind of, hey, I want to help coach this team. Um, from my perspective of last year, I will say junior and 16U girls, they're pretty easy to work with. 14U girls, that's a whole different ball game to work with there. Just put that tidbit out there. Um, the girls will be going to national duels at Westfield, Indiana. Uh, the goals is filling all weight classes, and I think realistically, if we fill all weight classes, we can attain silver bracket pool or better. And I'm being optimistic, not pessimistic in that. But based on I've cross-referenced the interests and the girls we've had, most of the girls that were on the national dual team this past year either qualified or placed or won the state championship, if we want to put that all in perspective. Um, and when I say most, it's like 99%. Um, so that's how good all these girls are working together, and it's kind of nice to see it. When I went to the state tournament, every girl came up to me, was asking about it, even those that are seniors graduating, asking about the national duels team. Um, one thing I've started, primary point of contact email for continuity is individual SCUSA Women's Wrestling email. That's something to reach out on. It's just like a standardized email for everyone to email, and I check it quite often. I also started social media handles. Social media is a thing. It's part of the process now. There's a Facebook page. It's more of a sports promoting Facebook page, on Instagram, and a TikTok. So that's on here. Please follow, like, and share, subscribe, whatever have you, with all that social media handle. That is one of my faults as an individual. I'm not the best at social media, but I do have help that's getting me understanding that process there. That being said, is there any questions for me, or we can have that at the end?
Yeah, Manny, I think we'll just push that to the end while we're tabulating the votes and stuff like that and kind of do an open discussion. Thank you. Who do we have next? Scova, you're up.
Man, that's a hard act to follow. First, let's start off. We had a great year last year with the pairing. Most of y'all know it was me and Amanda Green last year. We are the two pairs for South Carolina. They're constantly at every event, and then of course Brian helped us out with all the equipment setups and all that, which
brings us to a new partnership we have. Rockfin reached out to Jeff and Philip and me about being our streaming partner now. Um, just so y'all know, there's a way it's going to be set up. There's a monthly subscription fee, and a part of it comes back to South Carolina USA Wrestling. The biggest plus there is it's going to help cover our equipment costs. As y'all know, everything's web based now, stream based. Best way to get the athletes' info out there is to stream. Ops Growth, we had Amanda step on last year, helped out. Actually, it was their second year, sorry, and she really grew. I was assigned Southeastern Regionals last year by USA Wrestling, represented our state well. Also, I did make the trip for my third Fargo trip. That was always an adventure every year. That's where we mostly get all of our training. That's where they teach everybody. That's a big thing. Um, our our the way that they grade pairs has been reset starting this year because of the new USA bracketing system. If anybody's wanting to get involved, this is the time to do it. The first step that you have to learn how to do is the technical side, how to set up network, how to set up computers and streams. That is what they're going to as your first step. And equipment update for this year, we are looking to purchase 6 computers to replace 6 that we have now that are no longer able to update any further than what they are. Part of that is also to help push out the streams better networking with the switches. Of course, we still have the trailer, we still have our pin kits. They are still working fabulous. Um, and as for our growth, this is where we need help. As we get bigger tournaments and want to do more tournaments on a weekend, we need more operational officials. That's pairing. If anybody's interested, give them my phone number, have them text me. I'll teach anybody. If you want to, and it's something you can take with you. If you got young kids and you want to get involved now, by the time they get to Fargo age, you might have a selection for Fargo to go to. Go watch your kid wrestle and help participate and help run the biggest tournament in the world. Um, that's really just about all I got for tonight. Rockfin, I will get more info out to everybody as soon as I can. Um, and one comment though on that one. Biggest plus for us going to USA bracketing, pinpoints. A lot of people I've heard ask what are pinpoints. When you beat somebody that's better than you that has a higher pin score, your score goes up. If you lose to someone that's worse than you, your score goes down. I've been hearing some rumbling how Georgia and North Carolina do a lot of their seeding based off of pinpoints. And we've seen a lot of our kids get better seeding because we use bracketing with pinpoints at every event. So that's all I got for y'all tonight.
One last thing for pinpoints, just to reiterate, you get pinpoints also according to how many matches you wrestle. And so it's important to tournaments. I seen people who were really good and tough just think they can show up to regionals and state, qualify for Fargo, show up to Fargo, and ask me why they drew the number 1 seed. And I explained the pinpoints to them several times, but the pin index is very important, and it's you got to do as much as possible.
Thanks, Goba. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so we're going to move on to the portion of the meeting that is related to the nominations for the board. The next board will sit for the next 2 years. I think we're going to go through the existing board just to do a quick introduction, a little bit about what they've done for the board, and then we're going to open the floor for self-nominations. We'll let those folks talk, and then we will get into the voting through the link that Philip will send out to all the eligible voters for this particular meeting. So with that, Jeff, you want to do a quick background of yourself just for some of the new folks, and then we can go through Philip, Rob, myself, and then we'll go to the other nominations.
Yeah, I mean, I think I did that at the very beginning. As far as my name's Jeff Estrada, I've been in South Carolina for close to 5 years, and I took over the chairman position a few years ago. I have a huge vision for South Carolina, and not just South Carolina, but Southeast region. It's really important that we align with people like Florida and Georgia, and I meet with those guys a lot. Um, so I feel like I bring a lot to the table. I not only do I, help, I'm doing most of the tournament director stuff right now, but I work with every single director. I don't think there's anybody on the board currently or that holds a director position that would say that I haven't done above and exceedingly. I'm putting in about 30 hours a week right now, maybe more than that for the uh, organization. I show up to the tournaments. I bring kids from other states to the tournaments. I'm always out advocating for our state. I'm working with USA Wrestling right now to try to get us a tour of America, and working with Florida to for the 14U duels to see if maybe we can get another duel our way. It'd be nice to have another duel on our side of the country, but just overall, I feel like I give everything I can to this position and hope everybody sees that. Um, Philip is next.
Sorry, I had to unmute. I did introduce myself earlier. The past 2 seasons, I've been the drop my mouse. The past 2 seasons, I've been the tournament director, and a lot of what I have done during that time that I feel like has helped the organization are the kind of things that someone in the position of secretary on the board would do. A lot of promotion, a lot of communication, a lot of just organization of things. And so I'm the acting secretary tonight because I'm going to be counting votes, but that is, I feel like this is a position where I can serve this body in the best manner that I can serve. So,
Thank you, Philip. Rob, you want to talk real quick?
Yes, sir. Real quick. I've been officiating for 35 plus years, internationally for 20 years, past state chairman for about 12, 13 years. I was on the Junior Olympic Wrestling Committee, Southeast coordinator for our region. I've been safe sport, been officials director too for many years. And then safe sport, been the safe sport coordinator for South Carolina. I communicate directly with Kenya Dixon. We have quarterly conference calls. I also communicate with the other state leaders as I travel, who also are safe sport. It's good to be able to pick up the phone call and ask, how did you do so and so, and how do we do so and so? But then I keep track of what goes on, to try to be a resource for anybody and everybody. And I'm also a risk manager for the Boy Scouts. So a lot of that goes together. And so if I have questions that I need to contact the Attorney General's office, or I've got contacts and I've used those before, depending on what happens. Glad to be of help. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. My name is Blake Maffei. I've been speaking for a while tonight. When I first came to the organization, it was at our old corporate entity, and I served as the secretary. And then one of the things we had to do to make sure that we could generate funds as we developed some fundraising campaigns was convert the organization to a 501c3. So I was involved in doing that, and in doing that, we had to create a whole new entity. And as we formed that new entity, I moved over to the advisor position for that new entity on the board. And we were not able to fill a secretary role. So I've been doing some of the secretary role as well up until this point. Our treasurer was Jennifer Montero. She was and is a CPA, so she's been helping us with the back office stuff as it relates to accounting and filing and setting up that 501c3. But on the front end, the actual operational activities I've been helping her out with because she wasn't able to allocate all the time to actually go through all of the managing the bank accounts and managing the checks. And so I've been kind of acting as treasurer for, the past 6 months or so and writing all the checks and, working to set up the bank account and all that kind of stuff. So my background before getting into, on the board of South Carolina USA Wrestling, I was a chief operating officer of a company, helped grow that company from 4 people to 150 people, just as the Great Recession of 2008 started. So that was a fun time. But so I have kind of a diverse background in business, and that's why I wanted to move into that advisor position. I felt like I've helped all the folks on the board with various things, kind of as just an overflow type of a person to help out where they needed it. Moving forward, I'm wanting to move into the treasurer position because I am actively managing the bank accounts now. I actually put up my personal credit for the credit cards that support the members of the board and the coaches for when we go on these trips. So obviously we want to keep close to that. As a new 501c3, it's not an easy thing to get, $30,000 in credit on credit cards so we can send everybody to national duels. So I'm hoping to be into that position to continue to help grow the organization financially, and then also make sure that we're, crossing the T's and dotting the I's financially. So with that, I think we'll turn it over to any self-nominations for the board positions, and then we'll get into to voting. So I guess we'll start off with, is there any self-nominations or other nominations? It doesn't have to be a self-nomination. Somebody can nominate you as well for the chairman position. And Philip, if you would, make sure you take notes on this, please.
I've been taking notes the whole time, just to make sure that everyone is aware of where we're at. At this point, Jeff Estrada is considered a self-nomination for chairman. I'm considered a self-nomination for secretary, Rob Wiggs for legal director, and Blake Maffei for treasurer. So if you are going to nominate one of us, we are already on the ballot as a self-nominee, and as acting positions, current and or acting positions. So any nominations outside of that? So nominations for chairman, like Blake said.
Thanks. Are there any self-nominations or nominations for chairman? Okay. Are there any for secretary? Are there any for legal director? Are there any for treasurer? And I'm going to give it a little time because maybe some folks were on mute that wanted to speak up. So we didn't get any answers so far. So if anybody was on mute that wanted to speak up, give some time now. And then the advisor position is an open position. So are there any?
I would like to nominate Adam for that if he will take it.
Well, that's what I was going to self-nominate, but whoever that was, I will accept that.
Awesome.
Okay.
Now we will let everybody know that with Adam taking that position, he will step down from the executive director position, which we've talked with him about all that. But just so everybody's clear, you can't hold 2 positions on the board. You can't be on the existing board and hold a position full time. So we are looking for like a tournament director, even though I'm filling in and Philip is helping me. We are looking for a tournament director. We will be looking for a executive director, and those positions are all done through the board, through us. So the existing board, you would email me, and then I would give your information, and we would have a meeting about it. But we are open to those. Just to let everybody know.
Is anybody else for advisor or any of the other positions? Any other self-nominations or other nominations before we move on? And to your point, Jeff, I think it's really important for everybody to know, we are looking for people to help this organization. We have a great base of help right now in the organization from, Gova and Brian and all the referees and all of the coaches and Shad, everybody in the organization is doing what they can to make sure that we're benefiting these athletes. But we still need help. We need help with pairs. We need help with officials. We need help with, a fundraising manager would be huge if we had somebody that we could come in and somebody could take that and hit the ground running. Like you said, the tournament director and the executive director, those are positions that we're looking to fill moving forward. And for anybody that's on the call that wants to get involved, or even if it's not a position, but you want to get involved and you have 5 hours a week to help, or a couple hours a week to help, there's always stuff to do. So please do reach out to us.
When we are done with the meeting, we will send out an email to the general membership that will say like tournament manager is open, membership growth and member marketing manager is open, fundraising manager is open, and whatever positions are open. And so if nobody is running against us, then I believe we don't have to have a vote, correct?
Yeah, the bylaws are gray on that because I don't think it was contemplated.
Got to move by acclamation.
So
Blake,
yes,
Blake, you need to have at least a move by acclamation. All in favor?
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah,
We have to have the move forward, and then somebody's got a second, and then we.
I'll say yay. I'll motion to yay.
Well, we got to have a motion. I'd motion to accept the incumbents as, you know what I mean, whatever, without the vote, whatever you were saying. I know somebody's got to propose it, so I propose that we
I
move
second
forward
it.
without a vote.
I second it. Trying to do that, and you took my glory.
I want to
Hey, we'll
contribute
put
somehow.
it down there. We'll put it down there as co-sayers.
Robert's rules.
Yeah.
Put that in minutes.
Hit one and then give somebody.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next slide.
Hey, Jeff, real quick.
Yes, sir.
I wouldn't mind, talking, seeing where we're at on fundraising, just to bounce some ideas. I don't want to offer because I'm like super, super busy, but I would wonder what we're doing so far for fundraising ideas for our teams, and maybe I can, get some ideas or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. I think, again, like I try to tell everybody, I'm so thankful for the organization, for the people who are with us, and I am open. Like I give my phone number out everywhere, all over the internet. I mean, I have 2 parents call me the other day just asking me random questions about Fargo. Like I'm open. Like if you want to call me and talk to me about fundraising, I kind of go over the idea. But right now, we're honestly, it's been, and I'm, Blake may be a little shy about it, but man, Blake has been the one who's just really finding money, figuring things out. And so we're open to anything, man. Any kind of fundraising, we can do tablecloths. It's just we need somebody who goes out. Like I have the idea of we can get sponsors, put them on tablecloths at every event, but we need someone to go out and do those things, right? While I'm doing all the other things. So that's kind of why we're looking for a fundraising manager, someone who says, "Hey, I'm gung ho about that." And I believe even like the board has talked about before, like we're okay with offering someone 10% of what they bring in, 20%. Like the fundraising manager position is very vague. It's something we can do and work on.
Yeah, there's definitely incentive based for sure. And it's one of those things that in my belief, it has to be done. It has to be, if it is done right, it can be extremely critical to how we grow and how we subsidize these athletes moving forward. I know Adam was in potential talks with a gentleman from Beat the Streets, who was one of the initial people in Beat the Streets, who's I think down around this area. And Adam
We're still talking. Me and Blake are supposed to have a conversation with him. I think we just kind of got behind the 8 ball with the high school stuff. So
yeah, and even if that happens, it doesn't mean that we're not. Generally when you build these kind of fundraising arms, it is an arm. There's somebody's kind of taking lead, and then they're sourcing out some of this work regionally to people that want to help with the various ideas. So it might be one person that says, hey, yeah, I want to take care of the t-shirt sales to raise some money. And another person says, I want to take care of, knocking on doors to raise money. It's generally a pretty systematic plan. But ultimately we're really looking for somebody to kind of take charge on that. So
Who's
Adam,
who
go
to learn
ahead.
about that role? I mean, like, because there's a lot of different revenue streams there, and I've been in, software sales for 20 years, the Global 2000. But I mean, are we talking corporate? I would love to know more about the fundraising side and what channels like we're preferring to go after, if it's at a, local, event basis or more of a sponsorship.
All
Okay.
statewide, local wide, you know, national
Multi
dual team will deck us out like NASCAR if we can get it sponsored and paid for, you know.
multi-pronged plan.
Yeah.
So Tim, if you're interested in any part of a multi-pronged plan, that's what I'm saying, that you can have somebody that just does local. You could have somebody that just does corporate. You could have somebody that does, the logoing and the sponsorships on shirts. We could have somebody that's, it's so ultimately we're just looking for somebody that can kind of lead that up and put that plan together and hire folks within their fundraising organization to help us to grow it. And everybody here on this phone has ideas after ideas after ideas, but somebody hitting the ground running with it is really
Actually, yeah, put it into action. Yeah, I hear you. I'll follow up with you, Blake. Thank you.
all right. Thanks, Tim.
And hey guys, Chris McCarty, new here. Just lived in Blythewood, north of Columbia. Got a freshman in high school who started wrestling, missed state by one match. So that's been a motivating factor for her to get involved in freestyle. And I made the Iowa Greco national team, missed All American by one spot way back when in the 80s. And I absolutely 100% believe in this. It's some of the best memories I have. Matter of fact, I just connected with Mark and Mike Schwab, two guys that I wrestled with 40 some years ago this week, and would really be interested in the membership growth and marketing manager role, helping out that. My wife's graphic artist and marketing by trade. So I believe in this. I think this is so important for the growth of the sport overall. And we're working pretty closely with Manny and Chaz and group. So new here, but would love to throw my hat in the ring to help with that. And also anything on the side, run ideas by and the fundraising that, call me anytime. So God brought me back here for a reason and want to get plugged in and help this grow. It's been good to me. So yeah, happy to help out.
Well,
And
Cody,
just
I
so
want to make
everybody knows, I got Chris's number already, and I've already got him. We're going to get him plugged in for sure. He's definitely
okay.
going to be a vital part of this,
Wait,
man.
Chris, what position did you say? The
membership growth and marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, Philip put his name down for that, and we'll talk more about that too.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make sure I get the notes right.
Yeah.
And I've always just got an ear. Anybody want to call and run something by or brainstorm? I'm really glad to get plugged back in, and actually going to try to go back to the U.S. Open next year, get that All-American status and Masters class, see if my doctor will clear me. So that's just got a competitor's heart. So happy to help, and let me know what I can do.
Hi guys, my name's Khalif. I haven't been into the USA wrestling side, but I have a lot of youth wrestlers where I'm involved in. So if you guys need help with anything, I'm more than willing to help. I don't really know the positions like that, but I'm definitely down to help any way I can.
Thanks, Khalif.
Thank you, Khalif.
Do we have Khalif's email and phone number? Philip, do you have?
I do. He's in membership. They have a charter club. I also know his son. His son and my son wrestle each other a lot.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Khalif. All right. Let's, I think, move on just to open discussions. I know some people had some questions. So I think, Tim, you were the first one to have raised a question. What do you want to talk through?
Yeah, I have a quick question, a follow-up kind of discussion point. So firstly, just want to thank, the board, present, past, fellow coaches, and non-voting participants. Thanks for everyone does here for the growth of the sport in our state. I'm curious, not through the lens of, just the revenue side of membership, but I'm curious to know the growth trajectory that Philip, you showed earlier on, has the numbers increased with our revenue of the participation within these tournaments, more specifically kind of international styles, like how have those numbers been doing year over year? So the USA membership site doesn't give me that, or at least if it does, I can't see that granular. I've only been in, this will be the second free and Greco season that I've been a part of. I can tell you the folk style league grew tremendously from last year to this. Last year we only had two tournaments, and this year we had five, and we had a championship.
Yeah.
And we made money every week, which was better than we did last year. Last year, I think we maybe broke even once we covered expenses. And then in what I can tell you is that looking at the state leader dashboard, we were up about 25% in every metric that was measurable last year, from athletes to wrestling leaders to clubs to events. We grew about 20 to 25%, depending on which graph you're looking at. I had a much longer presentation, and Blake correctly told me that that was too many slides, where I had basically shown you every year a snapshot from 2019 to 2026 membership year. He was right. That needed to be cut out. But, you know, if you're interested in that, I'm happy to send it to you. It's basically just a snip of each year from 2019 to 2026. And those numbers consistently go up, 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 up. So the sport in our state, whether you're talking about folk style or free and Greco, and honestly, I'm a kids coach. You know, I run the kids portion of our club. Dunk and Tannery and some other guys run the middle and high school. That's not really my specialty. But I think that our folk style league is going to grow the Olympic styles. I think we're going to see more kids this year than we saw last year, than we've seen in years prior, because we're introducing them, not just them, but their parents and their coaches to the USA League, the USA tournament system. And I think there are a lot of benefits that I heard from being at all of the folk style tournaments this year, that I think we're going to see some of those kids come out and wrestle Olympic styles in the spring. I know you're going to see a good bunch from Jet, and I know there are some other clubs that are going to bring some kids out to the spring as well. So I think all of the things in combination are growing all of those numbers, not only allowing us to send more kids to the big national tournaments, but we're seeing more kids come out on the local level as well, which is important to me.
Yeah, I'll add to that. We could probably do a data run based off of the P&Ls that we put together in terms of the Olympic styles. But if I just looked at like the Jet Open in terms of the number of entries from 24's tournament to 25's tournament, and it went from, and this is just an example, probably do it with every tournament we've had. We were 96 entries in 24, and we were 223 entries in 25. I know off of the top of my head for just the Reverence Ironman, for example, I think first year was like roughly 90 entries. Second year was 140, and then last year was 200 and some odd entries too. So we're definitely seeing growth in the number of entries in these tournaments, which is, you know, translates basically to the number of members we have that are growing in those styles.
Yeah.
So I know y'all want some data there, and I can help out a little bit too. Currently, if you break down our athletes, what our current numbers are, only 589 have limited folk style cards. That means they only registered for folk style only, nothing else. We have 813 signed up for a full athlete, and 24 open licenses and 45 high performance. Yeah. And our growth there, just in the folk style, is up 227% from last year. Full's up 59. High performance is up by 88. Open licenses, that's anybody that's outside of the junior age division range, is up 20%. And then also this year, we currently have 179 female athletes, and we're up 175% over last year. Just some quick numbers I could pull up real quick to help out.
Thank you.
Show we are seeing growth.
It is important to note when you hear those percentages. I know they sound like, wow, that's audacious. There's no way we're up that much. That is to date. So
Yeah.
as we get into free and Greco, some of those percentages will start to come down, but we are set up really well for tremendous growth this year.
Yeah, and the broader discussion point, which look, it's personal vested interest for me. Look, I have a 10-year-old. I know a bunch of y'all's kids too. They've been on the mat together. Um, and Jeff, this ain't your first rodeo. I know you're bringing blueprints of what you've done before and bringing it here to the southeast. But when I say youth, I'm talking pre-middle school. All right, so our future Fargo folks, right? That we have a group of folks I know for sure of hammers that want to be able to get on the mat with the Owen Tanneries of the world, the Cale Waddells, the Christian Masters, etc. And I feel like this group of folks that want to wrestle year round, we're forced out of state to the Super 32s of the world or the Tulsas to chase the talent they need to be able to grow. And we're forced them out of state. Is there anything that we are looking to do in the near term? And it doesn't have to be like building a full formal team and traveling, but how can we serve these future Fargo wrestlers to get together and iron sharpens iron, right? Like, so they're not waiting till, 14U to be able to be a part of the broader USA, I guess, more travel competition group, because it's it's a group that no War or USA Wrestling we've not cracked into, and there's been nonstop discussions I had with coaches on doing things behind club doors of just getting these folks that's been doing kind of ad hoc individual, but I think it's like a major opportunity for some governing body to get these folks together, which is only going to exponentially grow our program with that investment in the future. So
I got a good Tim. I got a good thing that I have. I haven't even opened it up to anybody yet, but so I used to take a elementary team to the Heartland duels,
mhm.
and so what I'm trying to do is work with those guys, and my goal would be eventually, I always put the folk style state tournament back because I don't want to fight with War. I don't want to go. I don't want to have a tournament on the same weekend, but I'm really want to get to the place where we sponsor a team of those state champions that are folk style. The first leg of the Triple Crown Award.
Yep.
Show up, and we're going to sponsor the elementary team to go to the Heartland duels. So I've been working with the Heartland duels because they kind of want you to tell them you're coming 6 months in advance almost. So I'm working with him right now. Will we do it this year? Probably not, unless somebody wants to jump on it. We can look at it. Tim, if you want to give me a call tomorrow, we can look at the Heartland duel tomorrow, and I can tell you what we can subsidize for a team. We can throw it out there for our state tournament, elementary ages. If you win a state title, this is what we're gonna. We just got to kind of put that idea together. But I've been chewing on this. My goal was to start top down, right?
Yeah.
Juniors are always guys that have, I was trying to get every 3-timer, every 4-timer to go. Well, now we're kind of at that place where, like, okay, what can we do for the youth? I try to offer, like, this is one thing I don't think people really even understand. At the local tournaments, I offer the 8U and under and 10U, like $20 to come wrestle freestyle Greco. $10 for, I think, 8U is what we offered for 2 styles. Like, we cut that price down so that they'll come and wrestle. But, I done it years ago where, sometimes you just got to get 5. We have 5 or 6 teams. I know Jet really has jumped into the local scene last year with their tournaments with the little kids. And so the Heartland Duels is my next, like, big bump. We're going to sponsor a team for that.
Jeff, I'll go to Heartland Duels.
Well, there we go.
I work with kids every week in our club. Tim, I have 2 boys in the state too.
Yep.
And a 9 and a 7-year-old, and I want to get them out wrestling in other places. We went to Indiana just a few weeks ago. So, and I know Khalif is about to jump in on this one too. So
I got youth kids too. I've just started introducing them to freestyle and Greco over the summer. But my program is new, so all my kids are super, super new in wrestling. But this year I do plan on doing some freestyle and Greco with my kids. And then moving forward, I got a couple 8U kids or 10U, 8U kids that aren't doing spring sports that's committed to wrestling all year round.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not opposed to ultimate club duels also for elementary. Like we can do a lot. Whoever, I know Jason is it's hard. Like Manny's job and Jason's job is hard because Jason is the uh kids director. So he's got little kids all the way up to 14. Manny's got women's 14U, 16U, junior U. So if Khalif and we and a few of you guys, we can jump on a call, on an email together and just start you know, Tim, me, you, Khalif, a couple of us, but Heartland Duels was my first thought, and then I wanted to expand from there.
Yeah, I'd love to see an ultimate duels team go.
Yeah.
We've done that before, and it was great.
Yeah, one of the things I've been kind of contemplating too, whether doing it through USA or doing it on my own, is trying to get a somewhat informal club duels team, like Jeff just alluded to, is where we actually just get our clubs together and we put together duels to let our kids in these clubs wrestle. And if you only have, say, 8 kids that are at these weights, you put it out there and you say, these are the kids that I have at these weights. Here's their experience level, and the clubs that maybe have some more kids that have 20 or 30 kids kind of match up the right experience levels for those kids, and we get every month or so we get a club duel at somebody's club or at high school. I know my club has the size to be able to actually host 3 dual teams at the same time doing duels. Something along those lines would really help our development, I think, and if we make it fun and competitive but not overly competitive. This is about a development thing. So yeah, I think getting those ideas and getting them over to Jeff and the board and the coaching team will be definitely beneficial. And anybody who wants to help in that endeavor, because it's not just we can send, and I think sending a team to the Heartland is great, but I think we got to get more. We got to get a lot more kids developed too in the process. Is how do we develop those young kids? So.
If I could just speak up as the guy who has been working on the Folk Style League for 2 years, if you represent a club here, we would love to see you. I know it's a year away, but we would love to see you. It's growing. Parents like it. The coaches that we talk to like it. The one thing we don't have is we don't have the number of clubs that we would love to see plugged into it. So that's my shameless plug. I'll keep making it.
I think there was somebody else who had a question before too that we tabled. Is there anybody else that had a question? Might have been Ryan or Dominic, maybe.
Hey, this isn't a question, but I'll say this as we're getting into freestyle and Greco. I know that it is a growing thing in our state. If there's anybody on this call that is not super familiar with freestyle and Greco and is something that you want to do in your club, please reach out to me. I would love to come to your practice. I'd love to, if you're within an hour and a half of where I live here in Camden, Columbia area, I would love to come to your club, come to your practice, help you out any way I can. I'd be happy to do a rules clinic or uh, technique breakdown, anything I can do to help you kind of get you started down this path. Please let me know. I'm going to drop my number in the chat here.
Man, Chaz, you still ain't set your date with me yet, brother.
Have any other questions or open discussion points?
Only thing I was going to say earlier was I did notice, like, at least for the Kershaw County area, there was, at the high school level anyways, there is a big interest in freestyle Greco, especially after a lot of the guys that are in the area kind of showed out at the state level. And at state, you could see it was very prevalent who the freestyle Greco guys were. I know a lot of kids have been asking about the freestyle Greco stuff.
So Dominic, since you asked about that, I did right as we were starting this call. I posted on Facebook. It's on my personal Facebook. The one I started for USA that back last season during Free and Greco got shut down. Facebook said it was a duplicate page or something like that. Anyway, I post from my personal page, but it goes to South Carolina Wrestling Room, South Carolina USA Wrestling Group, Georgia, and the North Carolina Wrestling Rooms. So hop on there, grab that schedule, and I also put the first three flyers, which is our Ironman in Goose Creek on March 14th, Folkstyle State on the 21st, and then we're going to West Watery on April 4th. So all of that's out there. All of that's public. Those registration links are live. I do think there's maybe a little weird hiccup with Goose Creek, but we'll get that straightened out with USA tomorrow when they get back in the office. But all that's out there. It's all public. I'm not trying to gain followers, but that's the best option I have right now is to post from my Facebook.
So I got something there too, guys. Goose Creek is fixed. I got that fixed today.
Okay.
I found out when USA set it up, they accidentally made the end sell date the day that they opened up registration. So I had to go in there and fix it. But one thing, guys, this partnership with Rockfin, the biggest thing that I can tell y'all that's going to help us as a state. It's going to help cover our costs for equipment. As you know, we have pretty decent equipment. If you go to some of the other states, they don't have what we have here. A lot of that stuff I've brought back from Fargo over the years, working out there, working Southeast, seeing what things work, what things don't work. And I tried to bring that into our tournaments too. Like, for example, those of y'all that came to our fall league, you saw how we do call to the mat. One thing that I'm gonna say out there that we need help with is you all as club coaches and as coaches, help get the word out there to the parents to go on the app. They can click on the bout and they can see when a kid will be up on a mat pretty close to the time. But I've seen, for example, I helped run a tournament for North Carolina yesterday. Almost 1,000 bouts, 1,000 matches. They got done about 9:30 last night. I had to go in there and do a lot of work, fix something we call rounds. That's the actual flow of the tournament. If y'all ever notice how our tournaments were usually done between 2:30 and 3, when we're only running 3 mats, and we have very little dead time, is I custom make our rounds to where we actually move quicker. With us doing this also, Rockfin's going to help replenish the funding for our stuff. Also help get kids' names out there for college. I don't know what everybody else's goals are here, but my goal at running these tournaments is to make sure as many people see them so we get our kids to colleges. But that's why I have it there. As soon as I get the info, all the final stuff locked in with Rockfin, me and Jeff are working on that. We'll get that out to everybody. I'll tell you now, from what I've seen, it's better than Flow. Everything's going to still be through USA bracketing. Anybody got questions about USA bracketing? I know it's still new for a lot of everybody. Everybody's got to play with it, see some of the features in it. All right. Well, that's all I have. You got anything, Rob?
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get involved. Grab a whistle. Be a volunteer. Help any way you want to. Thanks.
Someone was just speaking right after Rob.
Hey, that was me. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know he was still talking. My bad. But now I had a question for Manny and Jeff. I kind of talked to our club coach, and I was seeing if maybe after we've established the girls' nationals team, he's saying because we're kind of a central located school, maybe we could have a practice or so centrally for the girls before we go out of town, if that's possible with y'all.
Manny, you there?
Yep.
So me and oh, sorry about that. Go ahead, Manny.
Oh, hey Jimmy. It will be something we have to work with logistics. I know we do a practice right before we get there. When we get to Indiana, there's a high school we stop at, but it would be good to kind of have like a team bonding scenario right before
Yeah,
that, before we travel.
that's kind of all I was thinking. Like maybe one time because, we're right here at White Knoll, so we're kind of in the middle of the state. So, and I talked to Kimry, the head coach there, and he said, if you and Jeff want to coordinate something with him, I mean that's up to y'all. But that's all I was looking at too. Maybe some team bonding or something before we head up.
That's definitely that's good to note. I'll definitely run that down as a note. Girls are a different scenario, but anything that helps them keep it fun and you get the best out of the girls when they have fun.
Gant, is that you, Jimmy? Jimmy Gant, is that you?
Yeah, that's me, Philip. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I got you. There you are
He's hiding
now.
behind the light.
Now I see your face. All
My
right,
bad,
cool.
man.
I was
Yeah.
making notes. I
He's
was just
like the
making sure I
Moore
knew
from
who
the
was
Never
talking.
Ending Story hiding in the background.
I'm
All I
sorry,
could
man.
see, all I could see was outline of your glasses.
I know, and I'm just sitting in the dark so I don't wake them up. But yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. Y'all guys are
Okay.
great. And yeah, man, I know Jeff, your schedule's real busy, but if we can hit a practice, and because I mean, I don't know freestyle like Jeff, it'd be great. But anybody
Yeah,
really,
well, you know what? I mean, I'm not pitching advertisement, but the Jet tournament, man, we run a camp that weekend and it's 3 days long and the Jet tournament. And it's really a curriculum. I've turned it into something that I get a curriculum. And that same curriculum Chaz runs. So you could always stop by Valhalla, but I'm open to anything. Like Chaz said, we're open, man. We want to make the state good. Um,
yeah,
come
we're
get some curriculum. We'll come by, whatever we need.
that'd be awesome because we did recruit probably about half of our high school girls. Well, we ordered singlets from you, so yeah, we actually recruited quite a good bit for our freestyle and Greco season.
You guys like those singlets?
Uh,
They're pretty
I
cool, ain't
haven't
they?
looked at them. I'm
Oh,
not
you
even
haven't
gonna
seen
lie
them?
to you.
They're
I haven't
awesome.
I haven't seen them. I don't look at. Man, I pay the money. I'll look at them when we get them.
They're nice, man. You're gonna love them.
I appreciate it.
I do have a question for the group, more so blanket. I know we talked about the duels and everything there. Is there a long-term plan for SC USA Wrestling to get a like 15 passenger van, stuff like that, that's withheld for us? Or what's the idea there?
Yeah, at 50K in the bank, 60K in the bank, I think that's when we're gonna start looking at that. Me and Blake write a lot of stuff down and argue a lot in the backdrop about
Okay.
that. But that's the plan. I have an entire Turo uh, mindset of getting these vans, letting coaches use them and rent them, and then us renting them in Turo and having them because I just did all the math. But again, I take everything Blake says, and if I throw so much stuff at him, I feel sorry for him. He's always like, "Not yet, no, not yet." So,
Yeah,
but
I mean, I think that in an ideal world, I think having vans is a great thing, and the ability to have a revenue stream on it and operationalizing that is a great thing. I just where we're at, I think Jeff's right. If we start getting about 60 and I say retained earnings, but it's called net assets for a 501c3. But if we have 60, 70 in retained earnings, we can maybe start chipping away a van a year type of thing, and then figure out how we can potentially get a revenue stream off of it. I also would love to see us have a giant trailer with all of our own mats that we can roll out and bring to these tournaments, because I think as Chaz knows, and I've done it here for the Reverend's Ironman, and anybody who set up one of these club tournaments that don't have all the mats already at their facility, it is a big challenge. And so I think from running a tournament perspective, if we could roll into whatever high school is hosting the tournament that particular weekend with all of the mats, with the tape, with the tables, with the whole setup, Man, I think we'd have a lot more hosts looking to come to the table to actually we make it really easy for our business partners to conduct business with us. I think it would be huge, but I think that's also a little farther in the future. That's one of the things that I've talked about a little bit with Adam and Goba and Jeff. The other thing I would love to see, and this is even farther long term, is how do we build a facility in the center of the state? It's a kind of a pole barn structure that can have 6 mats at it and be used for all of our tournaments in the center of the state, or at least all of our big statewide tournaments. I think that's something that I would love to see. I think that would give us a major advantage in growth because you could be running tournaments there every weekend. That would not only provide a source of revenue, but it would be a centralized place that makes it easier to host tournaments. And I don't, having run the numbers and having looked at building a facility for my club over the past 5 years, I wound up actually leasing a space. I was looking to try to build a big pole barn. We get to something like that in the center of the state. Man, that would be huge for us. So those are really great ideas. So anybody has ideas like that, send them our way. And we're always thinking of things, and we're always trying to figure out how we do this. But at the end of the day, if we grow the number of athletes participating, if we grow the number of coaches participating, clubs participating, that grows the revenue stream. That revenue can be put back into the business for the benefit of the athletes, vans, gear, subsidizing, you know, mats, trailers, all those types of things. So, and we're not far off. I think personally, in my belief is, you hit this kind of critical mass, and once you get to this critical mass, it'll grow even faster from there. And I think we're on the verge of getting to that point where, we go from 200 athletes competing in a tournament to 350, and you start to get 350 goes to 450, and now you're starting to really build the organization. Forget about just the revenues, actual athletes that are developing and becoming better people. So I don't think we're too far off from that. So great ideas.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, just so y'all know, I posted the links to our actual website, which is not up to date yet. I apologize with everything I got going on. I have had a hard time keeping up with it this year. Also, I posted our Facebook group for South Carolina USA Wrestling. I asked that everybody on here share that Facebook group with your parents so that they can see what's going on. Me and Philip post in there 4 or 5 times a week all the stuff that we have coming up so that everybody can stay informed. If we have a canceled tournament like we did this year, a couple with the snow, we can get that info out to everybody quicker. Also, if you check your emails, make sure you check your spam folders for the info that we send out through the membership system. A lot of people I've been hearing is beginning sent to spam and promotions folder. Please make sure you check that and try to keep everybody up to date on what's going on.
Thanks, Goba. So any other open discussion points? Questions?
Real quick, Blake. This is Brian Hedgecock. I know we got some coaches that said they were new and weren't real sure about stuff. If I need to, I can put my information for rules questions or whatever. If I need to come do like a basic rules clinic for your kids, just reach out. If I can't, we've got officials around the state that are good enough. We can find somebody that can help you out so that you're not walking in blind to your first event here in 2 or 3 weeks.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I think maybe we'll wrap up at the end of this meeting. I think we have, because Philip took a roll call we've got the emails in that list. We could probably send out an email to everybody, just give all of our information so everybody can reach out to individuals that were on this call. So thanks for volunteering that. Okay, with that said, any other final orders of business?
Well, I have one question regarding the folk style state. Do you guys have a location on that?
Yes, Dick, I posted that today.
Okay.
It is at Liberty.
Okay.
So USA State, the first leg of the Triple Crown. We tried for months to find somewhere in the middle of the state in Columbia, and we were not able to secure a place in Columbia for that. And then Free and Greco State will be in the middle of the state. National dual qualifiers are in Camden. So those are the big three. Gova's showing you the flyer now, but and then there's Goose Creek, Folk Style State, and then actually, Dick, I haven't even sent you yours, but there's yours too. I
Yeah.
posted those to our South Carolina USA Facebook group. I wanted to say page, but it's a group. Right as we started this meeting.
We still have two open dates that nobody wants, but if anybody wants those and dares to take them, they're on other tournament dates that are popular. So
I'm still working on the 11th, looking for a venue. I've just been getting shut out. Still calling around. Hopefully I hear something this week.
that's great.
There's the full schedule. Thank you, Gova. There's the full schedule. There is another schedule that is national, regional, U23, U20 tournaments, that kind of thing. I did not post that one tonight, but I have posted it a bunch of times, but I didn't post it tonight. There it is. Yep. That's it.
Hey Carl, if you couldn't find that if you couldn't find a venue, weren't you talking about maybe doing a camp or a clinic or something with Provisor?
Yeah, I talked to Ben Provisor. He says he's willing to come out. I was trying to do like a tournament slash kind of what Jeff and those guys are doing, tournament slash like clinic. But if I can't get a date for April 11th, I'll probably bring Provisor out on that date. You guys don't know Ben Provisor. He's a two-time Olympian in Greco.
Say that again, Carl.
I said if I can get a date for April 11th, a venue, I'm trying to get Ben Provisor to come out to do a clinic.
Hey, listen, call me because if you listen, we don't have to do it for this, but I want everybody to hear this out. I want to have an Ike Anderson Greco only tournament. I don't know when the date will be. At some point in time, though, he's our only Olympian from South Carolina in wrestling. And I would love to have him, Ben, Ellis Coleman. We'll figure it out. So if at any point in time someone wants to hold a Greco only tournament, we call it the Ike Anderson Open. We would get, I guarantee, after 2 or 3 years, we would get senior level athletes competing in it. Just throwing that out there. But I love Ben. Ben was a part of my club for 5 years.
Yeah, I managed him a little bit when he was doing the fight thing. Got a couple
he's such a
matches
good
for
dude.
him.
Oh man, he's such a good dude. Let me know on that because I'll drive people down from Florida for you.
Okay.
We'll fill
yeah,
it up.
we're working on dates now. I just talked to him last week, but he says he's down to come out.
Let's get it.
Hey folks, I do have one last comment I want to make, and this is going off of what Jeff was talking about earlier for future. I would love to see us here in South Carolina try to draw in the duels, one of the Southeast regionals, something like that in the future. We've done Southeastern here in South Carolina before. We've had it in Greenville and at the Citadel. The tournaments have grown so big whenever with those events that I will tell you now, the biggest holdback for us in our state is we need to get as many people out to volunteer as possible. The more volunteers we get, the more amped we are to find locations for these events. I can tell you now, I can think of 2 or 3 event centers across the state that we can host a Southeastern Regionals. We just need to make sure we have the manpower before we even bid on it. I know we've grown a lot over the last few years. I'm glad to see it. We're in the right direction. Let's keep it going, guys, but we can do it.
Blake, do we need a motion to adjourn or?
Yeah, sorry about that. I had to step away for a second. Yeah, I think we need a motion to charge the board of directors to carry on the business.
We already had that. Chris Rawlson made a motion to accept the
Okay.
board. Tim Flynn seconded.
No, then we're motion to adjourn. So
I'll second it.
I make a motion to adjourn. Goba's got my second.
There's a million things we could talk about. We could probably sit here all night. If anybody wants to talk to me, you have my number. Call me. Anything you need.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks,
All right,
gentlemen.
see you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Hey, guys, I'll make sure this gets posted.
All right, guys.
Okay, thanks.
Bye, Rob.
Bye, Jeff. Good to see you.
Thanks, y'all.